Is Dragon Ball Daima literally just GT? Let's talk about it. Today we are jumping into a full-on breakdown of what just happened in Daima and my feelings and emotions after all of it, which if you guys don't know, my name is Rara. This is a new channel where we do a podcast called Just Saying. And, you know, we'll be doing more than Daima in the future, so hit that like button and subscribe. But I just wanted to talk about what I felt while watching it, because I did do a react, which you guys can see on Patreon. There's a link in the comment section, but I honestly liked it. And I know that's a controversial feeling, but I'll break down what made me like it and what made me, you know, enjoy it, but also talk about some of the dislikes. So let's talk about the elephant in the room, right? Is it GT, right? And the answer is no. Partially. So starting off the bat, right? It has a really good lead-in, right? Of, hey, this is a story that takes place right after Majin Buu is killed, right? Or I should say Kid Buu is killed. And we get this interesting dynamic of what it looks like from the demon world as they watch, you know, Deborah get killed. And, you know, that is their king. So they're in shock. But then they're also like, okay, well, now we have a new king. It's you. You're appointed as king. And then we get this whole new lead-in and development of, you know, things that we didn't know about in the story, which is interesting. They did retcon a couple things, which we'll talk about, like Patara usage. But listen, if you're on this right now, I just want to let you know this is a full-on breakdown. Expect spoilers. So if you haven't watched it, go watch it, come back. But I love that they are like, hey, this is Supreme Kai's brother and his sister. So now we know that Shin has siblings. And they also introduce a new idea in this, which I thought was like, I don't know, pretty smart, where they said every character based on their ears is from a different place. So Majin, right? They first tease this. They go, Majin don't have rounded ears. And you can see that Vegeta and Goku have rounded ears. So they're not Majin when they were trying to figure out, like, who is Goku and Vegeta. And that's an interesting idea that, like, dependent on your ear shape, this is where you're from. And they reopen that again later in the episode, because that's good storytelling, by the way. I know it seems a little annoying, but that's good storytelling where you know, reinforce an idea later in the show one more time. And they say, hey, not only is rounded ears mean you're not Majin, but pointed ears means that you're from the demon world, that your origin is the demon world. And then we look at Mr. Popo and Dende, and it's like, oh, you're right. They're demons then, I guess. They're from the demon world, their origins, right? So it's a cool little, you know, nod, because then you start thinking about all the characters you've seen, right? King Kai, Supreme Kai. You start to realize, okay, everybody comes from somewhere, their origins. All Namekians, their origins are the demon world. Hence why they probably have these powers. Also why Piccolo is a demon king. I mean, now we know who the real demon king is, but you get what I'm saying. So, we get that whole lead-in. And then, and correct me by the way, guys, if I miss anything in the comment section. So we get that whole lead-in. And then we get introduced to this idea that Supreme Kai's sister and brother have opposing thoughts, right? Supreme Kai's sister is doing research and all sorts of stuff. And listen, I know I don't know the names for it yet. I'm getting, like, used to it and watching it in Japanese and trying to read it. Very different than listening to it. So bear with me. But King Kai's sister goes and says she has research she wants to do that Deborah was funding, are you going to continue my funding? And when she realizes that's not the case, you can tell she's already turning on them and puts, you know, little nuggets of thoughts into the new king's head that, like, well, these guys might come for you just like they did Majin Buu, who he feared. He feared Majin Buu and Babidi. So that was interesting. Then we find out she went to Earth before the new king and Supreme Kai's brother. So we're going to be getting this little rivalry between siblings that is essentially them being the puppet masters. We also find out that there's a Dragon Ball collection in the demon world, which I'm assuming is how we're going to undo this wish. So we're going to have to go to the demon world and undo the wish. Now, why we have to go to the demon world, I don't know. But they clearly set up that there's 3 Dragon Balls with 3, you know, bosses, you could say. And those 3 bosses are going to have to be fought. I'm assuming by Goku. But it's interesting that we don't have, like, I don't know, Vegeta and them going with them. I'm just basing this off of the trailers and past stuff I've seen. But everything I've seen is like a 4th, you know, not Kai, I guess, because I want to call them a Kai, but, you know, a 4th sibling of Shin's that was lurking in the shadows for like a good portion of this segment. And you can see him at the end of like the recap of the Buu saga, hiding out behind a pillar with like a gun on his waist. We also see him at the end of the episode getting out of the spaceship like he was like a stowaway. So I thought that was all interesting. I don't know where that's going to lead. I hope it continues to be something that's like very interesting to us. But yo, I gotta say, I think the coolest part about this episode is the idea of like a Namekian that is thousands of years old, that lives in the demon world and controls like these Dragon Balls and almost has like a reigning fist over the demon world. Like, yeah, he's an old man, but if he dies, these Dragon Balls are gone. So they keep him alive, but also they can't use the Dragon Balls because he has them guarded. So it's kind of interesting. There's like a power dynamic there. But clearly, because of that, everybody knows about the Dragon Balls, right? So, like, there's no question of it. Now, that's also cool to me because of when he comes to Earth, the actual, like, dynamic of him being able to just pull Dragon Balls right out of the ground, even though they're stone, and, like, collect them, and then even turning them out from stone to normal is crazy. So he's like the all-powerful Namekian, almost like the roots of the Dragon Balls. I don't know if you guys have read the manga, but it really just brings me back to like the manga. How when you're looking at the manga of Super, right? During Granola's arc, we have this really interesting Namekian character come forward, and I won't spoil it, but it's like, okay, his world, there's a Dragon Ball. So every universe I should say, every Dragon Ball collection is a little different. Even with Nameks, right? They say Purunga. And it's interesting that even the demons refer to that as Purunga. So does that mean that the one in the demon world is called Purunga? Because it would be interesting if it's not. And then it's like, well, how did you guys know that? Because they also have looked for the Dragon Balls. They made that obvious. They have looked for the Dragon Balls before on Namek and couldn't find Namekians. Probably because they didn't go to New Namek. But also, these guys have the ability to go anywhere, as we saw with that fish thing. So it's like, okay, if you can use this fish to teleport anywhere in the universe, you couldn't ask it where New Namek is or if there's any Namekians left. Like, it has like a Zeno kind of vibe. I don't know. You tell me if I'm wrong. It's a little sad that they turned Trunks and Goten to babies. Not gonna lie, a little disappointed. But now we gotta talk about the actual wish itself, right? So the episode ends, right? And we'll work our way backwards. It ends with them making the wish to reverse all of their ages to children. And I'm not gonna lie, it was kind of like terrifying in a weird way. Felt bad for them, like watching it. But the wish itself, it's like, I get that they're going for like, let's rewrite what GT did wrong. And also, how can we tell a story that fits in between Super and Z? So it's cool. I just hope that it evolves characters in a way that doesn't like mess up our perception of how they are in Super. But I guess we'll see. The animation looks beautiful. It's so clean. I mean, this is the best Dragon Ball has looked in a long time. I would say since the Broly movie. Like, this is what Dragon Ball should look like. Hands down, it's so clean. Oh. Batara conversation. So there's a conversation that goes on between Kibito Kai and Supreme Kai with Goku. And they say, weren't you guys fused? They said, well, we realized that when you guys went through Majin Buu's stomach, his magic properties caused you guys to split. So we just did the same thing. And that, like, okay, them saying that is fine. Because we all thought that's what happened, right? Years ago. Like back during the Buu saga, like you're talking almost 20 years ago. The problem comes when in Super, and maybe this is just because Super and manga are different. Toriyama just made bullet points compared to, you know, he actually wrote like Daima, so he's like, all these things people have been saying I need to address, and he tried to hit as many as he could in the first episode, because we all know this is one of the last things he worked on. We don't know if there's another thing, but this is one of the last that we know of. For all we know, could be the last. But he says, yeah, we split because we went into Majin Buu. That's fine. In Super, they said it's because you're humans, and humans get a 1 hour time limit. And correct me if I'm wrong, I swore that they said they had someone make a wish for them to be unsplit in Super. Am I crazy for that? I could have swore that happened. I also could have swore that in Battle of Gods, maybe I'm wrong on this one. Maybe I shouldn't go with my gut. I don't want my Dragon Ball card revoked. But I'm pretty sure in Battle of Gods, there's a reference to them still being fused. I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping here, but I could have swore it was a thing. You guys are going to rip me apart in the comment section. I could feel it. But okay. So we also know that now there's a bunch of different Majin that live in the demon world. They bring that up. They're like, yeah, the Majin are here. That's an interesting dynamic, that there's going to be more Majin characters possibly. They're also like, I don't know. They make it out to be that like everyone wants to kill the Demon King, and that it's such a bad thing for them to go across into like, what do they call it? The real world, the outside world. I forgot what they called it. But it's like, if it's such a big deal, why is everybody doing it? Like Deborah Bobbity, right? Clearly Boo at one point. The Demon King. The Kai. I mean, we have so many people crossing this border, and they're acting like it's like a big no-no, but we don't see what the big no-no is. right? Maybe there's a consequence for this that we'll see later in the show. But right now, it's like, it just feels like it's like everyone's saying it's a no-no, but no one's actually getting a slap on the wrist. Like, kind of do what you want to do. I do think they should have just left Goten and Trunks alone. They didn't need to do it to him. They also made a comment about them being 9 years old to try to, like, clearly let us know they're not 10 yet, which 10 years old is how old they are in Super. So this takes place right before, right? They, like, really wanted to make it clear. This is Trunks' birthday, and he's turning 9 years old and is small. So they're dating this for us. Which also means that all of the story of Daima can only take place within a year of Super. So they have their decisions made. It starts here, it ends there. What happens in the middle, we will find out. But it's also like, you would think in Super they make references to when they were turned to kids, right? They should be. They're not, but they should have. I don't know. Also, contrary to my shirt, this is a Dr. Pepper. I just had during that watch through, right? Because we're doing a react. If you go to the Patreon, you can see the whole reaction. But during the reaction, I was eating the new chicken Big Mac. Not gonna lie. Honestly, I was vibing. I don't know. I think Dragon Ball though, it's definitely doing well. I mean, Sparking Zero alone is just absolutely destroyed this year. Absolutely destroyed. Like, people are so happy. I love it. There's little things, you know, like control problems that I've noticed. Like, my controller switches its layout when I'm online, but that'll be fixed, you know? Overall, the game is great. The story mode is great. The what ifs are great. Yeah, I don't like the slideshow thing that they do in the story mode, but like, it's fine. You know, it gets the message across, and I get it. There's a lot of story to cover. You know, I'm so happy that we have the game. My big thing right now is that I'm about to beat it on PlayStation, and I'm trying to do a YouTube video where I platinum the game. Which, by the way, if you haven't checked, if this is your first time on this channel and you don't subscribe to my other YouTube channel where I do gameplay stuff, you should check it out. But we're trying to platinum the game, and I'm like, I would say 60% done, right? A lot of the challenges I have left are the easier ones. But I realized if I want to continue doing my raid videos where I play with my friends and we all do like a boss battle with like 3v1 boss, I'm going to need to rebeat this whole game on Steam, or at least power through and buy all the items and characters again. Because in order for us to unlock things, we have to have Zenny and shit. So I got to do the whole grind over again. A little bit of a headache. Just a little bit. But, and what are you going to do? You got to do it. What are you going to do? Going up on 20 minutes here. It's hard to do a podcast alone, I got to say. I think what we'll do is this first one is a short one. We'll leave it short because I don't have a guest. I can't even talk about things back and forth with anybody. So we'll leave this one short. If you want to see the reaction, go check out the reaction. In the future, we'll have guests to do this with, where it's not just me recapping the episode. I think Daima is going in an amazing direction. I just hope that over time, it doesn't disappoint. I hope it doesn't bring that GT energy of like the first saga. I hope it like starts strong with that recap, and then it's just full on punching through the rest of the story, because that's what we need. We need full on punching, you know? But this is just saying. You know, I'm just saying. And hey, you guys becoming Patreons, by the way, I just want to let you all know that money is being reinvested right into this. It doesn't pay any bills or anything like that. Like, we are using it to get things like intros and animations and stuff for the videos. And hopefully as the views go up, you know, this makes money. We get sponsors. We get monetized. Right now, this is making nothing. It makes nothing, zip, zero. So it's only for your enjoyment. There's probably ads on this because YouTube put ads, but there's no real ads yet. So like, subscribe, share this with someone who watched the episode, and let me know your thoughts down below, and I'll see you guys either in the Patreon or in the next recap. See you then.